Forex with Local Millionaires.
G'day future local millionaires. So today's video is all about price action and key points, reversal points. So we're basically just moving on candle structure for today's video. Right, so I'm gonna delete everything. So first thing that we're actually gonna do is we're gonna change our graph to a line graph, right? So with a line graph, what actually happens, one thing I actually like about a line graph, it takes out all the noise in the market, so it gives us a clearer view of the market at the specific time, right? Because we are trading with regards to price action. So with that being said, first thing that we're gonna look for, key zones, right? So one thing that we need to understand, right? Key zones is basically point of interest in the market. Point of interest, again, is where market has actually, like, as the name states, come to interest point. With that being said, I'll explain more as we go along, right? So first of all, what we're actually looking for is our reversal points, right? So we can actually see right there, this right here in this zone, we do see price has come there and reversed from there a few times, right? More than 3 times. And this is on a day time frame. We're using a day time frame to find our main support and resistance, right? So now we found our resistance. Next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna find our support, right? And as we can see right there, same thing, right? Market has come to this point, either has bounced off and pushed up or bounced off and drop, right? So that's a good key point, right? So it's a good reversal point, right? So now with that being said, we have already found our support and resistance. Right now we're going to move on to a smaller time frame, right? The reason why we're moving to a smaller time frame is because we need to find for price right now, right? The day time frame shows us maybe for the next week what we're expecting, right? So we're looking for our daily, because we are day traders, right? So first thing that we're going to check for, we're only using the month's data. So we're using just September's data, and we can see right here, area right here is a good point interest. Let me just change the color right then. Get it gray so we can actually have it good. So we can see right there, point of interest. So market has come for the first time, right? Push past there, pushed, came back, went up, the whole routine, right? So basically that, what we can see is our point of interest, right? Now, with that being said, we're moving now to our candles, right? So what we can see, right? These zones right here, this point right here, right? We see that as a point of reversal for the market. So every time the market comes there or comes close to there, we're looking at the reversal, because it happened numerous times over the course of the month, right? So we do see that momentum. Okay. So with that being said, now that we see prices right there, we expecting a sell, right? If price breaks this zone, we expect to buy, right? So then we expect that type of movement, price to hit up, come back down, and then start moving up. But price didn't do that. It's been doing the ranging market thing for the whole of September, right? So now with that being said, we need to start looking for how we actually analyze and understand the market, right? So now that we have our zone right here, this zone, our gray zone, right? So that's one of our minor, at the moment, it's a minor support, right? Because at the moment, we're at our major resistance. So that's it, minor support. So now we're gonna find more minor supports, right? So if market breaks price, we move on. We continuously move. That's what we need to do, continuously move. Right, so I'm looking for more point of interest. So right here, I can see straight from the back. I see right here, this is a good point of interest in this zone right here. And if I move to my candles, we can see exactly that point right there is a good point of interest. I'll just move it a little more down, right? Because we can see market shot up to our major resistance, came back down, retested this point, gave us a good reversal candle right here. Give us a good reversal candle right here, gave us upwards momentum, but we started seeing downwards movement. So now our expectation, right? Because we're seeing market is actually moving at a certain point or rejects at a certain point, we should be expecting market to range between there and there, before actually breaking down, right? But if that movement doesn't happen, sorry about that, just get a blue back. Right. If that doesn't happen, we expect market to reverse, go and start pushing further up, hit that line, drop back down, and start pushing more up, right? So we're looking at that movement also, right? So you must understand, we never just analyze for one momentum, right? We never just analyze for one way of the market, right? You always have to analyze for two sides, because it could be price rejecting at a certain point, so we need to move with the market. Remember, we don't analyze, right? We don't forecast where the market is going. We analyze to actually where the market rejects, or we basically trade on rejections of the market. So that's one thing that we need to understand. Right, so let me just give that good and go. Right, so there we go. Right, so that's our expectation. So we have two expectations. So we have that first one. We expect the market to come down to this zone, because if I do see to my left, every time price comes to this point, right, it comes down to our first support, right? It goes and it either rejects and start moving right down, right? So we have that 2 points right there, or it comes and it starts moving up, right? So that's what we need to understand. So now that we understand how our price action moves, now we can start analyzing for the next moves, right? So now we see we still see our reversal candles. But one thing that we need to understand is that we do see price tried breaking the zone right here, right? But market wasn't successful, right? So we need to understand market wasn't successful. Every time price came there, it rejected. Price came there, rejected, right? So we need to understand why. And obviously we can see that this is really a key. Again, if I go into my line chart, I'll see that this is a key point, right? So this is another key point for us. So we just add on our key points. So we need to understand where market is and we follow that rejection, right? So as you can see right here, it's a key point. So I go back to my candles, key point, right? Market came to that point, rejected, we're moving, right? So that's what we need to understand. But we also need to move with the candles and with news. Okay. So with that being said, this is what we're looking for, right? So we've seen price rejected here a few times. So this is a key point again for us. All right, so let me just change my colors, right? So I can make it more easier for you to actually see. All right, so this will make this yellow. Okay, yellow's too much. Make it a little blue, right? So we make it a little blue, light blue. Right, so now we can actually see that price, we have another zone, and that's all we're doing. We're seeing what price does at this zone before we react. So how we take trades, right? So we need to see price, right? This is what we're gonna do. We trade on the breakout strategy, right? Every time the market comes to our zones, we trade on the breakout strategy. We wait for it to see what market is doing at that specific point, right? So we'll wait. Because one thing that always happens is what a lot of people also get confused with is why when price breaks or rejects at the zone, right? When price rejects at a zone, right? One thing that we need to do is wait for price to first come back down, then retest our zone, and then we take our entries from there, right? Then we take our sell entries or buy entries, and then we ride the market down to a next zone. Because we need to understand what market are we trading, right? Because one thing that I've learned is that NAS 100 is a zone to zone trade, right? So once it breaks a zone, it moves to another zone, right? But we always wait for that retest on the previous zone before we actually move to the next zone. So now we see that that's happening. We need to capitalize on that. We caught our entry there. Our +3 entry gave us good sell, and we rode the wave down. And that's the end of it, right? So that's how we do market structure and basically analyzing for zone to zone trades, right? So this basically works on all indices, right? So it will be your US 30, your Dow 30, right? It will be your DAX 30, your UK 30, your SPX 500, and even gold, right? Gold operates in zones, right? So those pairs operates in zones, right? So that's how you do it. You find markets, you allow the market to show you exactly where it's going to, right? And also never forget that when you actually see on the market, you need to understand what is the market doing, right? What reversal candles, before we're in them, we need to understand the reversal candle so we can move, okay? So that's one thing that we need to do. Always look left in order for you to go right. And in this instance, we're looking left from here in order for us to go right here. All right, so thank you so much for your time. And that's how you basically analyze zone to zone.